Have you ever wondered what would happen if you moved to Kansas City and it just wasn't everything that you were expecting it to be? Well, today, right behind me, I'm going to go interview a couple that's moving out of Kansas City in just a number of days. They've only been here for 7 months, and now they're moving back to Colorado, where they came from. This is going to be a candid interview. I'm not going to censor any of their answers. Stick around to the end, and I'm going to ask them, what's the one thing that you might change about Kansas City that would cause you to stay? Let's go inside. So here with the Diaz family, good friends, originally from Colorado, but now moving away from Kansas City this weekend, right? Is that right? So talk about your time before Kansas City, living in Colorado. Where exactly in Colorado did you live, and where was that?
So we're from a small town in north of Denver, Brighton, Colorado, 20 miles north of Denver. And we pretty much grew up there. I was brought there at a young age. I was about 9 years old.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all I've known here in the States anyways. Yeah, we grew up there. We graduated high school there. We grew up with friends. We were very connected to the community, church there. And this is the first time we've ever moved out of state, which we were not anticipating it to be so different.
Yeah.
Coming from a place like Denver to a place like Kansas. Sure,
it's big change.
Yeah. It was a big change. We've never lived out of state too, so it was new to us in that sense too.
Right.
Yeah, we visited here, but it was different for sure than what we expected.
So initially, what led you to move to Kansas City? What was that discussion like? And, what was the decision point to say, okay, we're going to make the move?
Well, we've been, for the past 10 years, his family has been moving from Colorado to Kansas City. And we've been visiting at least once a year for the past 10 years. And we saw that his family enjoyed it here. So we thought maybe we should move closer to family. And then David does real estate, so he wanted to also try the real estate market over here as well.
So what were your initial expectations when you came here? Was it excitement? Was it just kind of like, oh man, I'm kind of nervous because it's such a big change? What would you guys say were your expectations?
I think excitement for the most part. Excitement. We visited for a long time, once or twice a year. Yeah, I think it was excitement. New market for me as well. But overall, I think it would be classified as excitement.
Yeah, we were excited. Something new, something different.
What is the biggest negative that you've experienced here living in Kansas City so far?
The culture is different here. In Colorado, everybody's always outside. Here, I didn't experience that. People are more active over there. Here, it's more people are at home.
Yeah, I think so. I wonder if I can elaborate on that. I mean, it is very diverse. I think Kansas City for us, we've seen a lot of, we're Hispanic. We see a lot of Hispanic people, a lot more diversified.
Would you say it's more diverse than Colorado? Probably not.
In different ways.
Different ways, yes, I would say, because even the Hispanic population is more diversified because you have not just northern Mexico, but you have Mexico, Central America, South America. Puerto Rico, so it's more diversified in that sense. So yes, there's more of that, that was great for us to find out here, it was interesting to see that. But I think culturally, maybe what we mean is people are not as active, or we're used to seeing people walking out in the street every day in Colorado. We grew up with that. So for us, that was like the regular rhythm of our lives there. And here we don't see that.
And in Colorado, we're able to go out, and most of the places are safe. And here there are places we have to avoid.
That's probably the biggest negative I would say that we've experienced is the crime rate here. It's a lot higher, a lot more significant than what we were anticipating, like the homelessness. Driving down the street, we were not used to. I mean, we saw some of that.
There's some in Denver, downtown Denver.
So but not as much as here. I mean, that was
it's a lot different
the
here.
Biggest thing. The crime rate here is just a lot higher.
So do you think, I mean, you live here in Independence, but do you think maybe you would stay longer, or things might be different if you relocated to a different part of Kansas City? I mean, you did a little bit of real estate here, so you kind of went to different parts of the city. And what are your thoughts of that?
If we were to move to a different part?
Yeah, what if you were to move to a different part of the city? Would that have changed your perception of it?
I think so. If we were to move Overland Park or Prairie Village, or maybe Lee Summit or Blue Springs, which are more family friendly, and
they have that similar feel like Colorado does. When we're there, yes. But at the same time, we wouldn't want to as much. Well, actually, we would. We just wouldn't want to be too separated from the
We
the
still
city.
like being close to the city.
Yeah, we still like being closer. So maybe something like Prairie Village would have made a difference.
Yeah.
Because that's still within the city. Yeah.
And there's sidewalks.
Yeah.
There was no sidewalks where we moved. And I didn't know that would be a problem.
Yeah. I know you mentioned that, especially to Emily plenty of times, that you like walking, and it's there's nowhere to walk in your city, right? Where you live. You'd have to kind of drive somewhere and then walk. That's a big negative. So kind of what were the initial thought process of like, okay, now we're going to leave Kansas City? Like, how did that all come about?
It came, leaving Kansas City wasn't an intentional thought of us. It was always in the back of our mind.
Yep.
Because being a licensed agent in Colorado, I still am licensed there, and I still have a small team under me. So I still have a business there. The biggest thing that opened up, that really got us
thinking about it.
Yeah, thinking about it, started that process, was one of our rentals in Denver became available. And at the same time, Stephanie became pregnant not that long ago.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of changes coming up. Winter showed up here in Kansas, and that was different for us as well.
Oh, way different.
So
yeah.
The winter here is very different than the winter that we're accustomed to there.
Yeah.
That we're used to. So all those circumstances came together and really got us thinking, okay, how are we handling all of it? So I went to Denver for 2 weeks, took the time to did my work around there, took care of my rental. Meanwhile, Stephanie and I were discussing what would the best option for us be, and I think it's specifically a rental becoming available, and I was starting to think like getting that culture shock that we got here from being here than being there. I think if our rental wouldn't have been available, I think we would have still
try to stick it out.
Yeah.
Stick it out.
'Cause I think our goal was to do at least 1 year. We're like, okay, we gotta at least try it for a year. But I think that opened up the door that really got us thinking, and then
I wasn't really enjoying the winter here. It's different.
Can you maybe describe how different, like Colorado winter, Kansas City winter, like what's the biggest difference if you could tell somebody who's maybe thinking about moving here? Is it harsher here? Is it what
I would
is
say
it?
I say it's harsher since it's colder. And it's always dark.
Cloudy.
Right now it's sunny, but my experience was it was for a couple weeks.
It was pretty dark.
It was pretty dark. The rain during the winter is different too because it rains a lot here.
Yeah.
And that's different.
Yeah, that is different. We actually enjoy that.
I enjoy the rain, but sometimes after it rains so much, there's like a smell. I don't know. For me, maybe because I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Smell in the air, and it was bothering me. And I'm like, I didn't know rain was going to be bad if it rained this long. And
yeah. Well, I think you were mentioning off camera, like when we were talking about it, like maybe people in Kansas City aren't as adapted to the snow, and so they don't go out as much. Where you said in Colorado, when it snows, people are just kind of used to that because it's such a prevalent, and they're just living their normal lives. Where everything in Kansas City kind of shuts down when it snows, right?
True.
Yes.
True.
So that was a big difference. What would you say maybe it was the best part about living in Kansas City? I know we kind of focused on like why you're moving home and why you're going back to Colorado, but what was the best part about Kansas City?
I think the people.
Yeah.
The people in Kansas City are genuinely nice. I think we've been able to make really good friendships. Really, a lot of my family is here, but even people that I meet at work or people even out in the streets just are polite. Like, they actually greet you. They say they say hi to you. And I think it's the people. The people just have a natural
friendliness.
Friendly culture, I would say. Yeah. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's like a small town in the city, small town feeling in the city. Everybody cares about each other.
Yeah.
It's really,
we
enjoyed that. And the green, we love the green. Yeah. How when it gets so in the summer and the spring, it's green, and we like that. The trees, how much you never have to water your yard.
Mm-hmm. Is it greener here than where you're from in Colorado?
Yeah.
Really?
It's more plains over there. When it does rain, we get good rain, it does get green, but not as much as here.
No, not nearly as much.
Yeah, here it's green, the trees.
Yeah, the green is beautiful. We love it.
Mm-hmm. What would you say if you could talk to somebody about, like, they're just right on the cusp of making that decision, right? And they're thinking about, hey, I'm going to move to Kansas City, whether it's from Colorado or another part of the country. What would you say might be the number one piece of advice that you might give to them? For example, for us, we only visited very minimally before we moved. So my piece of advice would be you need to come and visit a few times. But what about for you? What would be your piece of advice to make their move successful if they were thinking about coming here to Kansas City?
A couple of things I could think of, but one of them for sure visiting, and I would say specifically visiting during the summer and during the winter.
So like the harshest weather.
Make sure they're okay with the humidity, the weather. We enjoy we could take the summer, we just couldn't really handle really well the winter. So that would be the two things. And I would say see how comfortable, it depends on where they're coming from and what level of tolerance they have to the crime level. So I would say see how comfortable you feel in the areas where you feel you're going to be living or whatever. See how tolerant you are. Go out to the parties. I mean, not to the parties. I mean, go out to the parks. Go out to your surroundings, to the stores, and see how comfortable you feel within the areas that you're at. And make sure you your level of tolerance is good. You know, everybody has different levels depending on where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But I would say just make sure to get to know, go out.
So check out the different areas
Yeah.
that you're going to.
Yeah, even simple stuff as grocery stores, you know, going out to eat, going out to dinners a little bit later on in the day and stuff, and make sure you feel comfortable. If you have children, take them with you. Make sure you guys are okay with how, you know, everybody feels different about driving by and seeing homeless on the side of the road or whatever, or if they're pretty near to your store or whatever, you know, then all that kind of stuff. Make sure you're okay with whatever area you're going to be at.
Yeah. Do your research what neighborhood you're planning to move in, and look at things that you wouldn't, like, I never thought the sidewalk would make having sidewalks or parks nearby. In just the schools, do your research on schools, because some school districts are not good
great
here.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time on the channel. Yeah, it sounds like it's like, because a lot of people will call me and say, hey, you know, give me a list of things to do in Kansas City, but you would even say it's not just what to do. It's go to the places where you're going to live. Don't just come and like see all the sites, but then go into some of the neighborhoods and see if you're comfortable, because wherever you're coming from, it might be higher crime or lower crime or a different vibe or that kind of stuff, right?
It's sometimes you might go to an area and it's good in the daytime, but at night it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So you have to check that too.
Did you find that here? Like it was a lot different at night?
Yes.
Okay, so last question. If you could change like one thing about Kansas City, and I'm not just talking about like Independence where you live right now, but like if you could change one thing about just Kansas City overall that would make you stay, what would that one thing be? Yeah,
I think the have less crime, and it would be preferable, because there's really beautiful houses here that have a lot of possibility, but you can't live in those houses because just the crime rate in that neighborhood is really bad, or you won't feel safe.
How about for you, David? Would you say the same?
I think I would agree with that. I don't know if I can think of another one. I think primarily will be that if people can just feel, you know, and there is some of that depending on the areas that you go around, but that'll probably be it.
Well, guys, thanks for agreeing to appear, and thanks for being so honest. I mean, like, you know, I know it's hard to just be super honest about all the negative things about living here, but I think this will really help people as they relocate here, and we are definitely going to miss you. I know you guys have become such good friends while we were here, with our family, so we'll definitely miss you, but I know that you guys will be happy back in Colorado.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Thank you for having us here.